Okay.
I'm ready to spread some positivity.
Unbear your burdens.
Welcome to the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast. I am your host. My name's Erik Miller. Today, our guest is the one and only Officer Delicious, Jacob Holmberg, in the house, owner of CrossFit Blur. Jake, how are you feeling today?
Too blessed to be stressed. You know when you feel alive and then you feel really alive right now? I got a little tingling. My heart's beating like a phone book in a dryer, Erik. Do you have this effect on everybody?
Yes. Yeah, that's what we go for. So Blake and I talk about this a lot. We talk about like who we can have on the podcast that would be like, first of all, like entertaining to talk to, which you're the most entertaining person that I could think of to talk to on the podcast, but also like who has amazing stories, who's really like kind of embodies what we're trying to do with Formerly Intoxicated. So I wanted to have you on here just to share a little bit of your story. I know you're like kind of in longer term recovery now. How long have you been sober for?
So that journey kicked off the day the bars closed, April 2020.
Amazing.
Yeah, so I thought to myself, I'm like, I tried to drink at home the next day. And I was like, I guess I'm a social drunk. And prior to that, I mean, decades of a bottle of at least a few days a week at a time. And so I experimented that whole month. I'm like, all right. I was addicted to eating out as well. So I'm like, no eating out and no drinking this whole month. And then I was just having an epiphany at how amazing I was feeling by the end of the month that and I did have one relapse a year later and quickly woke up the next day like, all right, I know I'm doing the right thing. And I slowly have lost the desire for all that shit.
Amazing. We talked about that on the last podcast about like, how relapse is part of the journey.
I love that, dude.
I
listen to that.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, you're just another person that we've talked to that has a similar story where like that's part of your journey, but it like kind of set things in for you. So that's cool.
Yeah. And through that, I have a lot of family events where I just realized that this is in my bloodline. My dad was in the ICU. He would drink and drive. They would go across a frozen lake 100 miles an hour after having a bottle of whiskey. And it got to the point where he got in such a bad car wreck. He was in the ICU, and he's been sober with 2 relapses and 18 years total sobriety. And since that happened, fast forward a year after my sobriety, I'm still kicking around the idea of going back, and I keep just saying like, make it another day. And my wife's brother killed someone in a drinking and driving accident, and I've watched him go through the trial. I actually just got to visit him in prison this last Sunday, and because he was running, they said he was running from the cops, it was marked up to life in prison. So right now, I just have seen it in my family as this. I'm looking around, I'm like, this is the most destructive addiction that I have, hands down, and I'm watching everybody around me feel the real weighted gravity of what can happen to you. And I just at that moment, I just lost the desire, and I'm really grateful of God's grace along the way, because a lot of it was a huge experience with God. As I found sobriety, I was finding strength through Him, and each day is another massive victory along the way. I don't know where I got off on this tangent, but we dove into it. So, but yeah, for me, it was, all right, I have a generational curse in not only my family, but my wife's family. And it was like, it's time to break that curse. And I was watching my own behavior, and it was just a matter of time. That same result was going to happen for me. And luckily, by God's grace, when I would drink and drive, nothing happened. But that's, or any of these other I would be all whacked out on all of it. And every morning you wake up feeling that freshness of mind. Every day you have a little more energy, and you get past that. The first few weeks are hard, and then you slowly build strength, and every day your integrity strengthens a little bit more. And it's good to be open about it with people, because for me, when I would share with people, it just gave me accountability back. And so even just now doing this it's added accountability to me. So
that's awesome. I love your story, because I was in it. I was in I was a member at Blur, man, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago or 8 years ago. And it was crazy down there, dude. Blur is known as kind of like the party gym. Everyone's always having a good time. There's a lot of fun. But that one in particular, right there on the ASU campus, it just was dude, it was live. It was live all the time. I remember seeing you guys do Beer Fran, and, some of the crazy stuff.
When you walked in, you knew shit was going down. You could be on 1 hour of sleep, hungover, and as soon as you entered, the energy of the gym would start radiating through your bloodstream. And you were a big part of that, dude. Yeah. Seeing this guy toss around weight, it just makes you want to make Tim the Toolman Taylor. You just want to start grunting.
But I think that's what makes your story so impressive, is you're obviously a community leader. You've been a CrossFit gym owner for how long? 12 years? Or
yeah, we've been taking the jiggle out your wiggle for 13 years in August. 13 years.
Nice. So you've been kind of leading that community for 13 years. You're really highly respected in the CrossFit and the fitness community in Scottsdale and all over the valley, really. And I think that's why there's so much power in your story, is because you have all of that at your fingertips, right? You could just go join the party that Blur has kind of created really easily, but you decided to step up and really level up your existence and your presence and how you show up for your family, how you show up for the community. And I think that's amazing, dude.
Dude, hey, I watch you do God's work, it really it's penetrating my heart, dude. Thank you. And I do believe that the people that soar the highest are the ones that hit rock bottom. And the harder you do hit rock bottom, the higher you can recoil back up. And I had moments in my life where I was being pulled back and then by the grace of God set free. But I will admit, for me, it took just years of really poor decisions. I will say the root of it for me was I didn't have any self-worth. And I just took some stories that I shouldn't have taken seriously. The story told to my generation was, if you don't graduate, you're either going to work at McDonald's or you're going to prison. And I suck at school. I'm so bad. And I was in there, I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. I don't care. What is it? And I from that moment, I just had this I suck at school. I'm not handy. And in Wisconsin, if you're not handy as a dude, they kind of try to steal your masculinity from you. And I had just I was in a very toxic relationship at the time. And I was doing things that were very out of my character. And I was using and abusing alcohol and drugs. And I got to a point where I just dropped out of school, and I had a friend out here living in Phoenix, and this was what you would say is OnlyFans before OnlyFans. It was I basically I went into the adult industry because I didn't have any self-value. I didn't have any self-worth. And I just was kind of living for the weekend and not living for purpose because I didn't feel like I had any. No one had really spoken into me. And luckily, I was actually, so we're going to fast forward to, I opened Blur, and I've walked past that life. I've left that life. It's actually, the moment I get to the key to Blur, I leave that. And, but it doesn't leave me. I have building shame and condemnation in my spirit more and more every day. And it took, I would have this thought all the time, dude. Just go start your car, close the garage door. Close the garage door, go start your car. And over and over my head, where is this coming from? The devil was clearly attacking me. And because I was always drunk, I was always high, I had no weapons back. I was just like being attacked, and I was sweeping the gym. I don't know if you've ever heard the story of the prodigal son.
Yeah.
So the week before this, I heard the story of the prodigal son. I'd been invited to church, and I never heard this story. I didn't grow up in church at all. I just thought if you lied, you go to hell. And well, I was like, well, I lied, so I guess I maybe run from God. And I was invited, and they told the story of the prodigal son and how this guy runs off and lives this life of debauchery. He spends all of his parents' money, and he ends up broke. He ends up living in a hog pen with pigs, to the point where he's like, I'm going to go home and be a servant of my dad. He runs home. Jesus is telling this story. He runs home, and as soon as he gets home, he's trying to apologize to his dad, but his dad's just hugging him and saying, we're going to throw a party. You came home. And I felt in that moment, I just felt God hugging me in that moment, like, you're home, son, you're home. And I had felt so condemned and judged. And I was sweeping the floor the next week, and I had that same thought again. Go home, get in the garage, start your car, close the garage door. And it's in my head 10 times while I'm sweeping. I'm all hungover, and all of a sudden I feel the presence of Jesus. I can't even explain it, but he's just hugging me, saying, I forgive you, I love you. And it happened for like 10 minutes straight, where I just like buckled and gave my life to him. And he's been really patient with me along the way, but he's been vital in me continuing to be sober. And also he's just slowly like, all right, let's work on this habit today. Let's just focus on this one bad habit today. And slowly every 30 days, just fine tuning me. And it's been a constant walk, but I can remember the moment. And that was at the same time as I found my sobriety. And that gave me the strength, was just like leaning into all of I kept reading about all the struggles he had in life, all the way to when they pinned him to a cross and killed him. And I'm like, all right, dude, you get me. You've been misunderstood. You've been misjudged. And every time I talk to him, like, I can't explain it. He's on my faith. He's like, he's my truth, dude. And so since then, I just keep leaning into him. I get all emotional. But yeah, that is the raw truth.
It's amazing. I can really relate to what you were saying about like feeling that shame and guilt. After I got released from Department of Corrections, I had the same feelings. I thought like, I'm never going to get a good job. I'm never going to have a career. Like those things are going to kind of hang over my head for the rest of my life. And one day someone told me, dude, those things that are in your past make you valuable. Like you have experience that a lot of us don't have that you can share with people, that people will relate. And I think that's part of why your story is so great. Like you can talk to anyone and people can relate to your story and people love your energy. Like I know like people come into this place every day because your energy brings them up, you know, like this is the best hour of their day when they come into Blair.
Yeah, I truly feel like everything I go through, even these emotions right now, and I just got some heavy family news today as well. So it's like every time this happens, God just says, use it, harness it, use it. And it's like, gosh, when you really take all those raw emotions and feelings that you experience and just use it for the good, you get Erik Miller, like you get Blake, you get Formerly Intoxicated, you get things that change the world. And like I got to visit my brother-in-law, and he's in the level 4 penitentiary with all lifers at Lewis Prison, which is an infamous place if anybody knows about it. And just to see my brother-in-law have a good attitude, and he's my inspiration. He's got such a close relationship with Jesus and God in there that when I go to him, I'm like, dude, be my therapist, man. Like you serve a strong purpose. Like, and I would say that to anybody, like you don't understand your purpose until you embrace your pain. And that's really where it's found. And I found it time and time and again there. And it's like, we can always wake up and say, poor, pitiful me. And sometimes it's well-deserved. And maybe other times we just are feeling sorry for ourselves and attending our own pity party. But we truly know in our heart that it's never going to lead us in the right direction. And I know that every day that we can use all the emotions that God gave us, like we can really catapult ourselves to our destiny and calling. Like you guys are catapulted into your calling right now as I hear every venue you guys are doing, because when you're addicted to life, truly. When you're addicted, you're looking to suck up all the juices that God gave you. And that's rightfully so. We all should feel like that. It's that the people that are addicted have the power to harness it for the good. And I know God loves addicted people because we go all in, and that's what he wants. And it's my favorite scripture I live by is like, whatever you do, do it with your whole heart and working for God's glory, not for your own. And something I repeat to myself every day before I start is like, all right, we're not going to get this day back. And you can either take circumstances and let them drive you into the bad addictions or the good addictions, And that's why like barbell saves. If you grab a barbell for an hour, you're going to black out, dude. And it's going to feel amazing. And it's the best. It is intoxicating in the best healthy way. And I feel that way when I'm having raw, authentic conversations with my Heavenly Father. It's like the moment I realized how much God loves me and everybody, it was the biggest game changer in my life. And that you look up all these heroes of faith and you're like, oh, wow. I don't know if you know about Apostle Paul, but he was Saul and he was killing people. He was like, this guy was Saddam Hussein. And then he went and wrote half of the New Testament in the Bible. And I was like, wow, when I think about churchgoers, I don't think about those people. And just changed my whole perspective of like what I thought this stuffy religion thing was and how I thought sobriety was a joy kill. And it's been the exact opposite and the best way for me. Sobriety, alcohol is the buzzkill or whatever drug it is, So
yeah, I think for us, that's kind of been a mission that we're on, is to exactly what you just said, to kind of prove that just because you cut drugs and alcohol out of your life doesn't mean you're a buzzkill. It doesn't mean you're like not fun. You can't go out and have a good time. What does that look like for you? Like I know Blur is kind of known for the community getting together outside of the gym and stuff too. What does that look like for you if you are at a party or an event where there's stuff? Like how do you kind of navigate those situations?
I would say preparation. I need near-death experiences every day, and that's how I feel alive. I talked to one of my friends who's in sobriety 18 years, and he's feeling stale. I'm like, well, dude, do you work out? Like, are you working out till you're like panting, laying on the floor? And he's like, no, I haven't worked out in months. I'm like, how are you expecting to feel alive, dude? You gotta get your blood. So first, before I would go out to a social event, I'm going to do a hard workout and I'm going to get my blood pumping to my brain. I'm going to oxygenate my brain. My other two vices are fire and ice. I love fire and ice and I love extreme temperatures, and they're both extremely intoxicating. I find meditation in there. So like if I'm ours is 38 degrees and I'll just go as long as I can hack it and just do nothing but breathe. And then I'll go somewhere after to an event and I'm bouncing, man. And same goes in a sauna. Like if you go into a sauna and do stretches and deep breathe for 20-30 minutes, like you are going to enter the euphoric state that you were looking for the whole time. But there's no hangover.
Right. There's no negative consequences.
Exactly.
There's no repercussions other than like you have that learned experience. Like I can control how I'm feeling just through my breathing or through like hot, cold plunge or a sauna. It's
the side effects are having deltoids the size of a barn door like Erik Miller.
That's something that we've talked about too, is incorporating some more of the cold plunge stuff. I love that you guys have that here at Blur. You have cold and sauna now, right?
Sauna arrives tomorrow.
Okay, nice.
It's a 3-person. Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's so cool. But yeah, like I think that's the message that I'm trying to get out, and I'm so happy that you brought it up, is there are ways to make yourself feel however you want to feel with other outside sources other than substances. Mm-hmm. You can exercise real hard. You can go for a run. You can go get to the top of a mountain. Hot, cold. There's a bunch of different ways to get to where you're feeling that euphoric feeling that we were kind of chasing before, that we didn't know how to get there, right?
And you can't turn that switch off. For us, that switch has to be on So if you're not doing the healthy version of it, whether it's even, you know what you say, maybe it's you're sober, but you're just eating and you're eating terribly. I mean, that's an addiction, and it's an unhealthy one. And addicts are going to lean, and we all have it with something. It's like, what are we going to use it for, you know?
Yeah.
But the fire and ice, man, and him and I have been CrossFitting together for over a decade. We're CrossFit dinosaurs. I started in 2006.
Yeah, I was like shortly after that.
Yeah. And I mean, CrossFit is for addicts. I mean, everybody that comes here is the person that is like, you know what? And I like to use the phrase, it's just all in. I mean, because I think the word addict can have a negative connotation. Is that a word?
Yeah.
And if you just shift it to a person who's like, all right, whatever I do with my whole heart. Like, if I'm gonna work out, I can just go on the elliptical. Like, let's do burpees until we're blue in the face. If I'm whatever we do, like let's do it. You know, let's hike to the top of the mountain. And you guys cover all the bases. Like, let's have a concert and let's jam out. Let's dance. Let's be alive by music. There's so many God-given outlets for us to harness all those feelings we're searching for. And
find your tribe.
Yeah.
Find your people. I promise you, whatever it is that you're passionate about, whatever it is that you want to do, whatever makes you be present.
Yes.
Right? There's a group of people out there that are doing it, that want to see you do it well and want to like support you and push you through it.
Into what I realized is, once I realized I had 24/7 access to the creator of the universe, and I really just started doing, instead of doing these, Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name, kingdom come, Lord, please bless us food in Jesus' name. And I really started having a conversation with the creator of the universe and just talk to him raw. This is how I'm feeling today, God. And I just totally took access of what I had access to. And that's something we all have access to, is constantly leaning into just pausing and talking to your creator. And that has been, if there's been one X factor above all, because I've tried just working out and I've tried just doing all these other things, but I always was feeling this like God-sized hole in my heart. And once I created a communication line with them, and you may feel like, oh, I've tried to do that before, but it's just like someone who doesn't work out. It's like, I tried to deadlift a couple times, and I'm like, well, yeah, you got to do it like thousands of times. Like, and to me, it is the exact same with prayer. Like, if you just do it a few times and expect the whole world to shift, I mean, it's just like trying to think you're gonna walk in and do a 500-pound deadlift. And so that was the repetition that I was like, all right, let's take, because as an addict, you have discipline. Like, the crackhead doesn't wake up with money or crack, but he finds both of them. Right. You're gonna let a crackhead out hustle you today. Discipline is what they have, but it's for something, you know?
Yeah.
And man, even my cousin last year, he overdosed on heroin. They had 8 Narcans, brought him back to life. And he's got that same personality where I'm like, man, you got potential oozing out of you. He just doesn't have the self-worth, that he doesn't realize how chosen he is. This is funny. So I always thought we were all the fastest swimmer to the egg. I thought, like, I'm my dad's fastest sperm. Okay. We're not. It's the egg that chooses the sperm. Oh, you're chosen, bitch. Oh, you are chosen.
Oh, man.
I mean, and to think, you could have woke up a little cockroach ant. You're at the top of the food chain. Come on. I mean, and then out of all the millions of years Earth has been here, we're all here at the same time. I think it's pretty divine.
That's awesome.
We're going deep.
I love that. We're chosen.
My grandpa says if you want to get deep, you got to go deep.
Yeah. So, something that I started incorporating in my routine is I'm trying to walk for like 20 to 30 minutes out in nature regularly, like at least a couple times a week. And that has become like my time for spirituality, where whether it's a prayer or I'm just like trying to meditate or whatever it is, for some reason, walking while being in nature and just like reflecting on things and meditating or praying has made a huge difference for me. So I love that you talked about like just, like movement and prayer and repetition.
Yeah, everything's going so fast.
Yeah.
And if we don't slow it down, it's not going to slow down. And anxiety, worry, stress, irritability, impatience, all the flesh of us comes out and the spirit dies if we don't slow down. And, as much as we hoard at our home, if we don't go for a walk, we're going to start hoarding things in our mind. And that person that pissed you off 3 days ago, all of a sudden you're taking it out on a loved one. And they're like, what the heck? Or all of a sudden you're taking it out on a bottle or a pipe, And so, yeah.
My thing has been, like, I encourage people to find the thing that makes them be present. For me, if I put a barbell over my head, I am not thinking about anything else other than that barbell being up over my head, right? So I'm in that moment right there. And that kind of clears out all the anxiety. It clears out all the guilt of my past. It clears out all the stuff that my brain wants to stir up and put in there. So that for me has been like the greatest thing about like CrossFit outside of the community. The community is amazing, but just having something that forces you to be present, I think is crucial. It's key.
Yeah, I mean, it's the only thing that truly exists. Right. And but it's always being fought for. Your past is like, hey, remember you did this, you fucked up, and then you're also trying to forecast something that might not even happen, worst case scenarios of the future. And for me, the epiphany that I had was like, Jesus forgave my past, he secured my future, so I'm right here, and that's the only place I want to be. Yeah.
Well, dude, thank you so much for like taking time out of your schedule. I know you have a ton of stuff going on, but like just recovering out loud, sharing your story, I really appreciate it. I'm so proud. I'm so proud of you, dude.
I love you, dude.
I really
love you, man.
Thank you so much. Well, more to come, dude. We're gonna do more stuff. We're gonna do more events out here at Blur. Look for more stuff to come from Formerly Intoxicated. We're gonna link up. We're gonna do some fun stuff, dude. I'm excited.
I feel like we scratched a mini. I'm like, when I used to drive in Wisconsin, you'd do just enough ice. You'd scratch off just enough ice so you could see because you'd be running late. So I feel like that's like we're just like barely. Oh yeah! Wait till that defroster comes on and we can really see shit.
We're doing the next episode from the sauna.
Yes. Oh my gosh. You got a 3-person sauna coming? We'll all sit in there.
That is genius. Yeah.
We'll melt in there and talk about our feelings.
Dude, I really feel like you just because your heart is so genuine, Erik, that you make people just be able to be vulnerable and to be shameless. And that is crucial for any and everyone's healing process. So, dude,
Thank you.
Super grateful for you in my life, and I know thousands of other people. And what you don't even see is the trickle effect into their loved ones. That you being intentional with your life is like it's going to spread faster than COVID, homie.
Well, it's the same for you. Like when people come in and they have the best hour of their day, and your energy is contagious. That affects countless lives too, and now like sharing your story out loud is going to be even more. So, dude, I've said it a bunch, but I'm really, really proud of you and everything that you do here and how far Blur has come.
Thank you,
and like the health and wellness that you promote in the community, all the things. It's amazing. Thank you for doing what you do.
I love you, bro.
Yeah.
Well, this is what we call now a Minnesota goodbye, and we don't hang up the phone. We want to keep talking.
We need Blake to officially end it. Just do like that.
No, I was gonna say like. So my sister will be about to leave the house, and I'll be like, "Hey, hold on a second," and I'll bring up something, and she'll be like, "Oh yeah," and then she'll try to leave. I'll be like, "Hey, have you ever seen the reality show Lizzo? I Want to Be a Big Girl," where they have plus size models that dance off for Lizzo? And she was like, no. And I'm like, let's watch an episode. And I got her to watch it. She's like, I gotta go. That's what I'm doing too
Nice.
right now on camera.
That's amazing.
But there's more to say. Hold on.
Yeah, we'll do more. You
And
gotta
train his mom too.
Oh, yeah.
We gotta tell more.
Yeah, dude. I guess I should share that story too. Like, there's very few people that I trust enough to send my mom over and be like, Mom, this person, you're going to be safe there. They're going to take care of you. And when I finally talked my mom into doing CrossFit, you were the only person I could think of. And I was like, dude, go see Jake. Go over to Blur. They're gonna take care of you. They're gonna make you feel welcome and at home. And you did. You have influenced her life in amazing ways, dude. Like, she still CrossFitting 5 days a week up in Denver now. She was doing it out in Hawaii for a little while, but she'll be out and we'll come visit. We'll do a workout with you.
She's got a pure heart of gold, and you can see, Deanna, I hope you're listening. You can see why Erik has this pure heart of gold. It is from all of the sacrifices you've made, and just like it takes discipline to consistently rejoice like your mother does. It's not just like, oh, she's happy-go-lucky. No, she's disciplined with her happiness. And I want to commend you, Deanna, because like even through hard times, you would never know, because she's just a little pocket full of sunshine, ready to not only add value to life, but multiply it. And now her son has 100-fold of the blessings. So we love you, Deanna.
She has that same gift that you have, where like she can go up and talk to anyone. She can make anyone feel like she's known them forever, just like in a short little conversation. And you have that gift too.
Thank you.
And it's really
Well,
cool
man,
to see that when like people come in here and you just see it on their faces. I watch your social media all the time, the Blur stuff that you guys post, where you make everyone feel like they're a celebrity in their own like little workout. You know, you're like,
you, dude. I never thought of it like that.
you're like, we're here live. You got the dumbbell in your hand. And we're recording live right now. How was your workout? You know, like, people are dying, but they're smiling and happy because that makes them feel special, dude. And I love that.
Dude. Thank you.
Cool. So we'll definitely more to come. More events here at Blur. More for sure to come from the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Blake, thank you for all that you do back there behind the controls, and for letting me try and run one for once. We definitely found out that you're the better host for sure.
We love you. You did great.
But wait, there's more. Cut.
Yep, go ahead and just cut it there, dude. That's good. Otherwise, we'll keep going.
What up, y'all? It's Blake from Sober House Records. Big shout out to Jake, CEO of Blur Fitness, for joining us as today's guest. Big shout out to Erik Miller, co-host of the Formerly Intoxicated Podcast. Today was his first solo episode. Super proud of the both of you. Keep doing your thing. And for you who is tuning in right now, I pray you have an amazing rest of your day. I pray you find purpose. I pray you find meaning. No matter who you are, no matter where you are, no matter what you're going through, I promise it'll be worth it. Brave the storm, keep on moving, and keep your faith. Talk to you soon.